What's up? It's Chris Nunn again. In this video, we'll be covering reverb. The last video was compression. This is all part of the Mixing 101 tutorial from Seven Sounds Productions. This is inspired by one of my buddies asking me some questions. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video on my mixing workflow and process and things I've learned over the years and just interning and doing my own projects at American River College in Sacktown, Sacramento, and also at Full Sail University, online classes. And there's tons of videos out there that I also get inspiration and information from. But anyways, for reverb, so a consistent theme you should hear throughout all these videos is workflow and asking the question why you're using an effect, why are you doing what you're doing in the mix. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, then unless you're just for the sake of experimenting and playing around, you can find yourself in a jam as far as like trying to figure out why your mix sounds so muddy, or why your CPU is really to die. Why is it pegging in a red and you're getting audio dropouts, clicks and pops? Kind of like this video, like I'm running OBS and Cubase and it's just killing my CPU, I guess. But sorry for that. I haven't figured out why and how to fix that, but I guess down the road we'll figure that out. So reverb. So I use reverb on individual tracks, on group channels, which are like all my individual tracks bust to the group, and I apply that. And I have effects aux tracks per se. They're not called aux tracks in Cubase, but that's how you would use it if it just was an analog board or using a program such as Pro Tools, or I think Logic might call them aux tracks as well, auxiliary tracks. And but I've learned that I like to use that too. Apart from group tracks, they're like pretty much a group track just for effects, and I'll send those tracks. So here are my aux effects tracks right here, and I have different channels in the mix sent to these channels, and then I send those channels to so for this song I mainly did it for the vocals, primarily using for the vocals, and then have those bust also to my vocal group channels. So I really could end this video right here as far as explaining my layout. So let's look. So you have my lead vocal. So sometimes there are plugins that do multiple things. This thing is still stuck, but it's still working. So please forgive this. It sounds good, I swear, but it's just stuck. Don't know why, but so this one is a compressor, but it also has a delay and a reverb that I really like to use sometimes. This Waves plugin, as you can see, Chris Lord Algae vocals, and so I like the large reverb, but just a slight touch on this lead vocal, and a little slap back like delay on it as well, and it just for effect. And it's in the mix, but then and I use that plugin a lot. And this one's like to peg, I'm not sure, but so I do have delay or reverb used, and delay used on so I do reverb and delay in this one, used on individual tracks for special effects wise. And so this one has a ping pong delay as well, stock plugin by Steinberg. This is like a bread and butter plugin I actually use a lot, actually. So from day one, from my Cubase days, and I've been rocking with Cubase since Cubase 5, I think. Yeah, and then but so I use that for special cases. Like this channel right here is a copy of another channel. As you see, these are all copies right here, and I use those just for effects, just so I can have just certain parts just pegged out on the effects, and it's not over the whole song. So, and for a specific reason, and that's why I did that. Is just for those channels, just for a certain part of the song, I'm using that effect. But then I have, let's see, like you'll see, like these vocal channels are bused to my effects aux channels right here, right here, right here, right here. And vocal compression, I talked about that one in the previous video. And here those are. And you know, you have more control. So say I printed some stems, and I can have my clean vocals on one stem, and I can have my vocal effects channels on a separate stem. So if say the effects are overpowering, I can just turn those down, those particular stems down, or say it's just in the mix, I can turn these groups down in the mix. So it's just more control over your overall mix instead of having everything just layered onto one channel, slapped on there, and you do your mix and you do your master, and you're like, that delay is way too loud or overpowering, or it's off, and I don't remember the settings, or I don't remember what I did, or if I take that off, you know, maybe I didn't use automation, and you know, I don't know, those are bad examples. Good examples, there's better examples out there, but it's just easier to control, basically. Your effects over your dry, per se, signals, having them separate, well, you will live yourself later if there are problems to fix, basically. So another thing to look at is with these effects, especially delay and reverb, is unless you got certain parts of the song chopped off just to use those effects, like these are channels where I have special effects on just for a certain part, and you see it's just a very small part of the song. Actually, that's the hook. Here it is, right here, right here. So those are just all affected out, and that's not a word, but I like it. And it's just on a small part, so it's for effect for the overall song, for those tracks, and that's it. It's not on a delay, a crazy delay going on all the vocals over the whole song, because that drives me crazy when I hear it. A lot of my old mixes have that, when I understood delay, but I didn't understand, you know, how good usage of delay sounded, or reverb sounded, and I'm still learning. But you know, this just gives you an example you can see of, you know, when, and I told you why I used it, and you should be able to always be able to do that. It's no when and why you're using, or why and then when you're going to use it, because that gives you more control, number one, and this is the simplest way to do it, so you're not doing any other steps. Another way to control your effects, if you have it on a channel overall, is writing automation. So this channel right here I automated, I think, the send to, so this is sending this background vocal channel to, or this ad-lib lead channel to delay filter. So let's see, so here's my delay. So I have my ping pong delay, I have it going through filter bank, and some compression from CLA vocals, and then that's going back to another delay or another effects channel strip in Reactor, which is this one right here. See, Reactor, and then that's going to the overall being mixed in with the dry vocals, you know. But I have control, so at any point when something's overpowering, I can control it from here instead of it being stuck. And I mean, having to go to different settings on those effects, I can just turn it down and automate it. But effects automation, so that aside from just, you know, cutting out certain parts of the vocals or your channel, your instruments, and just having that effects plugin, those effects plugins on, you know, played on that part, when you don't have to adjust or you know, continually adjust and turn up and turn down, which is what I'm going to show you now, which is what Right Automation does. So this is me automating my send effects channel. Where'd you go? I lost it. Right here. So so when I play, let's go to a part. He's playing now. So
True speak
see that right there,
fall down, pick 'em up,
being
get 'em
sent,
right. It's on now.
and I have that delay.
They watching us, they wanna trust. Pressure on life tough. Will they still love? Will they see the faith, see the real, see the genuine? And praise the God above.
Yep. So let's take it back to it, just so you can see.
Against you, Lord, be very glad for a great reward. Yet I hate you.
So it's less
Ain't
intense.
your prophets.
See here.
Taste by your good ways. Bright. Take the high ground, city light. Speak truth, speak life. They fall down, pick 'em up, get 'em right. It's on now, soldier, here to fight. They watching us, they wanna trust. Pressure on life tough. Will they still love? Will they see the faith, see the real, see the genuine? See the power and repent and praise the God above.
So I gotta fix that. Okay. So anyways, I hope that illustrates. Sorry for that clipping. So that's how I use. That's another way to control your all your effects really, but especially time-based effects, which are delay and reverb. You know, in order to have that long delay just for effects. So I said, I want the echo to keep going right here on the ad lib, and then right here, and then okay, I'll bring it low. And there's ad libs being said, but the delay effect, the echo was not as pronounced. And then as I get to the end of, you know, the section, the verses right here, you see that I have it for effect just kind of echoing out, dying down, and it kind of just disappears into the mix. But throughout the verse, you know, which is a main part of this song for this genre, rap, it can really distract the listener's attention if you have this delay just consistently going throughout the whole thing, and it can mask words. And if there's a lot of fast rapping or a lot of movement and style changes and, you know, different things going on in the vocals, and you can the listener can miss those things, and because the delay is just all in the midst of it. So doing this this way, or even, you know, having it say it had vocal chops right here, and just just smaller pieces, and that can be a lot more tedious actually, doing it that way compared to just, you know, moving a fader up and down, or a send or a knob on the delay unit itself, plugin itself. But I mean, it depends on what you want to do. Now, say this was a slow sing verse, or this is an R&B track, or a slow rap song, and I'm just, you know, or the way I'm just writing the beat is very, you know, like more of a singing style, like more like how the ad-lib was, like, you know, then maybe the delay going across the whole time might be a cool effect, because there's less words, there's less action and movement going on. That delay has space to breathe, and the vocals, the main vocal has room to be heard and then interact well with the delay that's going on. So you have like a lot of call and response kind of things going on, almost like a a cadence, like they do in the military, where they have one person says this and then the group says that, which the group would be like the delay or the echo, which is pretty much what the delay is, unless you get it going in the opposite direction, and then you can either get like some pretty cool effects with that too, or slap back and stuff like that. So and the same thing with reverb. So sometimes the reverb can also mask and just overpower the channel. It's actually there to accent or support, or to add some flair, some swag to. Controlling your reverb is also just a very similar principle as far as sending effects, or sending, either whether you're sending it or dialing the length of the reverb in and out by automation, or just having vocal chops, which I think with reverb be a lot more can be a lot more distracting sometimes, and even delay if it's the reverb has a long tail and doesn't have, you don't control the cutoff of the actual reverb echo. So I hope that makes sense. So just wisely using it, knowing why and when you want to use those effects is very important. So as you listen to the song, it should kind of pop in your head like, oh yeah, that would sound cool right there, and then but not cool right there, and then that's when you would automate or vocal chop what you want in and out. And then if you receive tracks from someone else and it has the reverb stuck on there are some plugins that you can use that can kind of fix that. Reverb, where is it at? It's somewhere over here. I think it's DTAC. There it is, SPL Reverb. So I've used this many a times, and you can actually kind of erase some reverb out of people's, if you get a track and it has reverb in it and it's just overpowering and you don't have access to the raw channels, then this is a plugin that you can actually use to kind of, a little plugin alliance, by the way. You can actually use this tool to mitigate some of that, especially in the midst of a mix. Now, if it's like a piano piece or an acoustic piece or a very quiet song in itself, it still may or may not be there or may not sound natural, but in the midst of a mix, I've found it very useful, and I've actually have used it on the quiet songs as well, and got it to work. But so there are options out there where you can fix that kind of thing, and I think Isotope RX, may have that kind of a thing going on too. They've got some pretty cool stuff. I don't have the new RX. I'm still rocking with RX2, but there's also other things you can fix using that. But it's neither here nor there. And as far as time-based effects, reverb, and delay, that's my take on how they should be used, and I hope that it would encourage you to think about what you're doing before you do it, and have a game plan as far as your template goes. Like as far as like, okay, I know that in this song I'm probably gonna have a delay and a reverb, at least one. So you can set up aux tracks or set up your group tracks to have that in it, depending on what you want to do, and that can be part of your template, your own personal template. Or as you mix, then you can just throw those tracks on there, and that's more of what you see here. Is if this was a more refined template, I would probably move them all together and have everything just similar. So all my audio tracks grouped by similar tracks, and then all my group tracks. Actually, I like my group tracks next to each section, so I actually like that way. But I've also had this where all my group tracks were together, and then you have your aux tracks, and then finally your master, your master and your master output tracks, or your summing tracks, where those are pretty much the final group of groupings. So, yep. So that covers reverb and delay. I didn't think it was need to have a separate video for delay and reverb. So, anyways, I hope that was helpful to you. And it's Chris Nunn out. The next video would be on arrangement and